South Jersey bad boys. South Jersey bad boys.
Good. This is a big get for us.
When does it start?
Thanks for doing it, man.
Oh, yeah. Wow,
we
my
got
pleasure.
To introduce to the fans the man of 1,000 voices, WIP, Mr. Joe Conklin.
Yeah.
You didn't even introduce yourself yet. You didn't open the show.
All 7 of our fans know who we are.
Don't you have a theme song? And
we have a theme song, but
you put it in post?
We put it in post.
We got it in post, yeah.
Yeah.
Played it right in the beginning. Usually we do sing a jingle. Brendan's like, no, let's not do it.
Usually we sing a jingle, but I was like, I'm too embarrassed now that Joe's on. This is a real goofy cast, if you could tell by our whole setup here.
Yeah, we got a bunch of sports references, though.
When all of a sudden you get an actual professional to come down here, all of a sudden you get a little bit embarrassed.
Relax, dude.
Yeah.
That's a loose term, professional.
Yeah.
Well, you've been doing WIP for how many years now?
WIP, I started as a caller.
Yeah.
I was doing once a week with Jody Mack.
And were you doing
that
impressions
was
when you would call in?
90 or 91, somewhere around there.
Nice. Would you just call
hell
in?
Yeah. No, I called and I sent a tape out. My career started at WCAU FM in like 86. And then
is that when you started stand up too? Like in the 80s?
Yeah, 85 I started that. And that when we I got to mute mine too. I think it is.
Right.
When they changed formats, I hung on for about 6 months or so. They went to oldies. It was before OGL 98, oldies 98.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was kicking around a little bit and sent my tapes out everywhere, and nobody responded at WIP. I'm following up calls, and then my tape is like just sitting there. It's a cassette tape, and it's ready to go into this trash, and some producer put it in and heard it. And
no way.
Next thing I know, Jody McDonald's giving me a call. I don't know if you know Jody Mack from... That's
name,
awesome that you guys don't know him. That is awesome.
I know the name Jody Mack. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Jody Mack had a show. Jody Mack, AM and a PM.
It's so
Appreciate
funny.
it.
Do you remember what you did on your tape?
On the tape, yeah, it was like Rodney Dangerfield, Wilson Good.
No way.
Harry Callis, of course, still in my act.
Ooh.
That has he's carried me for 40 years.
Yeah.
Dude.
Wow.
So I did Harry and Whitey, and it was we'd like to say happy birthday out there in Absecon, New Jersey, 76 years young, Marilyn McKenzie.
Wow.
Oh,
did you ever
Hard
get
to believe, Harry. Yeah. And that was it. Just the delay and the yelp, and got his attention somehow.
Wow.
Did you ever get to do it to Harry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got to know Harry a little bit. Nicest guy in the world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, with that voice and all over HBO, NFL films, and he's just like the guy at the bar drinking a Coors Light.
Really?
He enjoyed a Coors Light, and I think that was when he stopped drinking.
Really?
He would drink Coors Light.
Yeah.
I think he would have a little guy here and again.
Nothing better than fresh Coors Light, though. Just the ice cold Coors.
That's what got his vocal cords warmed up, huh? The Coors Light.
Yeah.
And the smokes and the pipe. And
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a regular dude. He loved Phillies fans.
Yeah.
Great.
And his grandson sings at Phillies games, right?
Yeah, Kane.
Yeah.
No, it's his son.
His son.
Yeah,
Oh,
really?
okay.
It was definitely a May-December father and son thing. Kind of like my dad's 40 years older than me. I don't know how. So it's probably the same thing. I don't know how older Kane is or Harry is than Kane, but he might have been in his 40s when he had him. But yeah, he's a great dude. He was on our music show. He's a big singer. You're right.
Oh, really?
He sings operetta. But you know what his full-time job is? Poker. He plays poker. He makes millions of dollars.
Damn.
That's why he lives in Costa Rica half the year and
What?
U.S. half the year.
Evading some taxes, baby.
I love that. That's way. I thought you were going to say like an accountant or something. Like imagine singing
What a
at the
life.
Citizens Bank Park and going there. But that's
I've
awesome.
been being a singer in the entertainment industry, but your real job is much more exciting.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah. Somebody told you don't quit your day job. It's like, well, I'm in the casinos.
That's
playing
awesome.
Poker.
That he's like when he's not singing, he's just playing poker.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And he's he's got a beautiful voice. I mean, you heard his pipes if you've seen him sing the national anthem.
Do you feel like
no
that
joke.
the vocal range thing is like a genetic in the fact? Because
No question.
Your daughter's a singer too, right?
Yeah. And my mom. So it's beautiful to watch her as the next generation, because I always say it's just.
Did she just have an ear for it like you did, or like do you practice?
She's
that
a
sort of thing?
financial planner. She is she works at Morgan Stanley now. She did not want to be in showbiz. When she went on the radio, Angela, this girl's got to be on the America's Got Talent. He's yelling, and she's really good. She's got a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I was steering her away from it the whole time. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the three of us in your basement. Jesus.
I mean, this could have been her. She could have wound up like this, dude. I mean, man, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So she's got a real job, but she sings too. Only with me though.
Gotcha.
Only with me in the shows. She won't even sing on the radio anymore, which she did for years because she may get in trouble with
Their job. Yeah.
With just offend. She's dealing with some big money people, and she's singing lyrics that I wrote to a parody of
Yeah, Aaron Nola or something.
attacking a player or an owner.
Yeah.
So
And your mom was a singer too?
my mom sang at church. My father was a big singer. He was classically trained. He sang at church first. He was sang at all the funerals, did weddings, did cantering on Sunday. My mom later on, she always sang, but she sang at church after, we were kind of out of the house. She was in the choir, the adult choir.
Now, did you notice, when with your daughter at a specific age, you're watching her grow up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I think she just has that ear for it. Like, did you notice certain?
Yeah,
she could just sing.
She was in the plays at Cherokee, but she did not. She was in the chorus. She didn't sing. She wouldn't star or anything like that. Cherokee's a big school. You can get swallowed up by all those kids.
It's really big.
Yeah. And it wasn't important to her.
Yeah.
Important enough. And but around junior or senior year, there was a talent show. They had a lot of the Spirit Week stuff. They had the Cherokee Idol, I think they called it, something like that. Every school kind of has one. And she really killed it. She sang Michael Jackson, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize
That's cool.
that we had this asset.
Yeah. Somebody to take over the family business.
Well, I've said that to her.
Yeah. Man.
But yeah, it's definitely genetic,
Did you
God given,
when you were developing voices back in the day? I mean, I'm sure it's different now, but would you for the most part, you're like, I just got an ear for it, I can hear it and do it back, or would you sit down and go, let me listen to it for a while, work it, and develop it by, or
probably
was it
a combination of the two?
Yeah.
It's immediately I kind of imitate everything I hear, especially something unusual, right away. And if there's a person that's famous or whatever that jumps out, I'm gonna do it right away to myself out loud in the car or in my house or something, and then I'll kind of know whether I can. Sometimes I get them right away, and sometimes I never get. It ain't gonna happen. Now, obviously, the more peculiar and different your voice is, the more you got a shot. Because there's so many things to an impression. I mean, you can do a drop dead. I don't know. I can do a drop dead Brendan Donegan.
No way.
And nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to care.
Oh, yeah. My family would love it.
Until 3 years from now when you hit it.
Dude, I would love to hear just it's nothing because obviously, like you said, it's nobody would know. But for myself, I'd be like, that would be the most interesting thing.
Yeah, it would be, I would think. But there's nothing that jumps out, and not only does nobody know you, friend, but...
Thanks for coming on.
I'll be here all week. It's my last time.
Yeah.
No, there's no. You don't talk like this or anything, or you don't say specific words. Actually, you don't have buzzwords or whatever.
Yeah. I gotta develop some.
You gotta change something. You gotta have long pauses, stutter. Yeah,
get something unique going here.
So when I release my Brendan Donegan, my drop dead on.
That sexy voice.
Yeah, just holding on to
The
Everybody's
most
gonna
sexy impression.
Well, that's the thing. When you choose the impression, like you said, you have to find somebody that everybody knows and something very, particular about them. With that, do you find that there are impressions that you would say are like some of the hackiest anyone can do that you hate hearing?
No, well, of course. I mean, that's three different things. There's hacky ones. Everybody, almost have to do it. And hacky is, a negative term. If you're a hack impressionist, you're doing well. Most of my guys are all dead now. I mean, you're doing Jack Nicholson, Woody Allen, Jim Ignatowski from Taxi. I mean, there'd be a couple guys, including myself, that they would do these voices, and they were. Anyway,
Bill Clinton, would that be?
Oh, sure, I guess so. He's still in my act. All these people are still in my act.
I haven't seen you do a Clinton. I think you worked him out of there.
I do him right in the four. I can't believe the Eagles lost. Using my favorite play, the tush push. I've been using that move for years.
So right off the bat in the 80s when you started, were you doing, like, because obviously a big chunk of your act is stand-up, and then you work in just, all the voices that you have, but did you start out as an impressionist right away?
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason I wasn't a comedian. I was an impressionist.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to get funny or learn how to get funny or be around funny people. I got a writer now who I've had for 30 years, Mike Doherty, and I'll
Mike.
still solicit jokes. If you want to write for me, you're perfectly welcome to. I'm always looking for jokes. Comedians value jokes. I don't have any pride in, hey, that's not my thing. I always try to give people credit, as long as you don't steal jokes,
Yeah.
But no, it's part of my business, and it was. I had to figure out a way to get funny with these voices, and of course, most of it's just reps. You go up a bunch of times and. Even a throwaway line or an intro line, things just start working. You get a feel about it. You get a feel for it and figure out how you got to set this voice up or tell this story or see where this one came from. But getting back to your thing about which voices to choose, being in radio, I've been in radio for 7 years since the mid '80s or whatever, and like. Now, when I was with the morning show every day, I'd have to do the Eagles coach. I'd have to try to get the Phillies coach, but the Eagles coach was a mandate, and it was when I started it was Kotite, and then it was Ray Rhodes, and then it was Andy Reid for years and years.
Yeah,
and then Peterson came. I never really got Peterson. I mean, we used him. It was kind of like a...
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have anything that distinct.
Doug Peterson, like real simple. I give him a very slight list, but it's kind of not there. But kind of flat and direct.
That's amazing if you can even get somebody that really has nothing to work with like that,
Yeah, well...
You must have to find the tiniest little
Not
thing.
only that, there's nothing beyond the voice. Even if it's like a Brendan Donegan example. There's nothing there. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows this guy.
People know it.
You got to
Joe.
win a Super Bowl, dude.
well,
and that's going to put
Look,
you on
I
the
was
map.
a slot receiver with 3 catches my senior year, so I'm still growing. And that's,
But, I mean, they won the Super Bowl. I never had the Eagles coach down. So
Damn.
he was kind of in and out pretty quick. So it was a mandate for a long while. I don't know why Angelo used to yell at me if I didn't have the coach down yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the coach wasn't giving me anything. I mean, it wasn't even any controversy. Like Coach Tight was famous for just saying stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So who came? Oh, Sirianni. I just stop. My brother texted me and he was asking me about different. You want to come up? Here's my kid. So I got a little bit of them.
Yeah.
It's just some stuff. It's not really there, but it's close. It's close enough to function in a bit. You know what I mean?
I've seen some clips of you doing Andy Reid to Andy Reid. Were there certain guys? I mean, you've done, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's the banquet. Yeah, the banquets were like.
So you were doing it to everyone's faces too.
Yeah, there's nothing. It was my Super Bowl, dude. It was the
It's
greatest
like
night.
Charles Barkley,
Barkley sitting there.
Bobby Clark.
Clarky. I should edit that down.
Were there guys that you were nervous about doing in front of, or guys that got pissed?
Yeah, Dick Vermeil. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dick Vermeil was offered the Eagles job by Jeff Lurie before before who got the job?
I know Dick Vermeil from Mark Wahlberg's movie
Invincible with Vince Papale. Yeah,
It's the 90s. Who got that job? Was it Rhodes? Maybe it was right before.
I think it was Rhodes was right before.
I think
Andy
it was
Reid.
right before Andy Reid. Must have been they hired Reid instead, and then Vermeil was all fired up about the interview. Comes out of coaching and takes the Rams job. Anyway, he got up there, and Vermeil was close to signing with the Eagles, but they didn't give it to him, and he said, I spoke to Jeff Lurie on 3 different occasions, and basically I forget what the words were, but he assured me the job, and he said, and I'm not going to get down on my frickin' knees to coach this frickin' football team, So then we did everything frickin'. It was, hi, friend, Steve Fredericks here. We're here with Dick Vermeil welcome to frickin' Eagles Talk with Dick Vermeil. Let's get frickin' started here, Dick. And so we got a week's or a month's worth of hay at that, and I met him at the Maxwell Club, and I felt obligated to introduce myself. I said, "Hello, Coach. I'm Joe Conklin. I'm the one that's been imitated." "Well, I knew you are. You got that frickin' part down pretty good, don't you?" Oh, he was pissed. He's still pissed.
Never forgot
Actually, I sat with him at a dinner about 2 years ago, and he's mellowed out. I mean, how success? He's a good man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And success. I mean, talk about corporate levels and the fees. He's whatever.
God,
just
yeah.
for going out of the house and speaking to executives or
he's got to be
people.
making bank.
Yeah, I mean, NFL coach. I mean, beyond. But he's an intense dude.
Yeah.
Intense. He doesn't put up with tomfoolery. He had no
right.
time for
an impression to his face,
let's get
dude.
this dude going here. But
How did other guys at that banquet react?
you had Charlie Manuel was the best.
Yeah.
He kept laughing. I kept looking. Yeah. Who else was I? Larry Brown up to his face once.
Oh wow!
yeah.
I saw you do. Actually,
Clarkey was great.
Bobby Clark, you did.
Great teams make great players, not the other way around.
Yeah, he's an OG
great quote.
diabetic, type 1 diabetic. I'm type 1 diabetic.
Are you really?
So
Okay.
He's my guy.
There you go.
I'm Bobby Clark, and I'm a pretty lucky diabetic. So is 6-year-old Karen Caruso.
That was the first
Yeah.
one of my first impresons was Bobby Clark and Bernie
Canadian.
Perron.
Bank at Bernie's Bank, Industrial Valley Bank.
Both of those guys are still in my act.
Yeah.
That's 40-year-old actors.
Yeah.
That's
Man.
incredible.
What was comedy like in the 80s back then, dude? It seemed like that's why everyone talks about the comedy boom. Like it was like Wednesday night, sold out
Like,
crowd.
How many other people were doing impressions, and were they even any good?
What you had back then before the comedy clubs were talent show nights.
Yeah.
Mostly singers with a piano player singing To Dream the Impossible Dream or Barbra Streisand. And then you had a guy come up and tell jokes or maybe do some voices. And that was the only opportunity to get on stage.
Yeah.
Before this all started in the late 70s, I believe. Well, I don't know when it started in New York, San Francisco, all that stuff. They've always had the nightclubs. But a comedy club, per se, or a comedy night, they had it out at the... I'm sure you know the history of Philadelphia. It was out near 30th Street. I think it was the Jailhouse, maybe. Grandma Minnie's, something like 30th and Market area. Then it got down to Old City. It was 3 clubs when I started. The Works, the Outlet, and Going Bananas down at 2nd and South.
Okay.
And you could only work one. I mean, you had to choose because they were fierce competitors.
Yeah.
After a while, that got loosened up. But for me, it was all about contests. It was like an open mic night.
Yeah.
But especially if you do impressions, if you got a contest, you got 20 guys coming through, and then you got a guy that does a memorable impression. One could only one, say he does 10 voices. One's really good. That gets people's attention. You kind of remember that.
Yeah.
So an impressionist. I don't know how they look at them now. We always got a bad rap.
Well, no one
not a
does them
real
anymore.
comedy.
Well,
But
now-
it's like, who doesn't love a good impression?
There are people that do them locally, but that's why I was asking previous question, because most of the guys that are doing them are still doing like a Christopher Walken impression, and it's like, not that you can't do people from back then, but like everybody
It is
talks to
crazy.
Christopher Walken. It's like-
I tried
He's
to,
a big
and
one.
I'm like kind of out of it anyway. I've just been around too long, and as far as current, I mean, thankfully my audience still comes out because they're old too. You've been on this stage, you see my audiences.
Well,
they're all my age or older.
Well, dude, I mean, we've done so many gigs together at this point,
Yeah.
and thank God. Like, I wanted to ask you this because with you, you've been doing it so long. You always make sure the setup is good, the sound's good, your audience is good. Like they're fun. They're for the most part they're all very easygoing. The setup's good, but you do so many fundraisers sometimes, at least that I've done when I first started. That is a nightmare.
Well, you got to go through those nightmares
Yeah.
to get in front of something and not have that happen to you again.
yeah.
know how to
No,
handle it.
But I'm saying, like, you make sure the setup is good,
Of course.
that it's fun, but
Yeah.
so many guys do not do that.
Well, you
Like,
know why? Because it takes money and effort to get in front of that shit. You gotta make sure you got some good people. You can't just say, "Yeah, my cousin's bringing some speakers."
Yeah,
or something.
but
Yeah,
dude, there's
yeah.
so many shows that you do. I mean, I've done the amount of shows I've done with no microphone, like,
Karaoke microphones,
Yeah.
the
It's
It's always
handhelds.
a
Yeah.
disaster.
or
too.
the host brings you up. Like, a lot of times, sometimes you'll even bring me up so that I'm not going up completely cold.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, they go, "All right, it's Brendan Donegan, the comedy." I go, "Just say my name last," and they go,
yeah.
"The comedy show's happening. We got Brendan Donegan.
And then they-
food's out. Here you go."
Food's
Food's
out.
And then they hand you the mic.
raffle tickets coming.
Yeah.
They don't even know you're. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then you just start talking, and it's so awkward.
Yeah.
What is the
Called
worst?
digging a hole.
What do you
He's digging
think's
a
the
hole.
worst that you've done? Like the worst show where you go, "This is gonna fucking suck, dude."
Well, I've had memorable failures, but aside from like the worst shows of all time, yeah, like you said, any of that stuff, and that, you brought up two real good things. Physically, if you're at a disadvantage where they either can't hear you or they're distracted, or they can't see you, or something. You remember Meijing restaurant down on Pennsylvania next to Dave and Buster's?
I know where it's
I know
at.
the
Yeah,
area
yeah.
you're
It's,
talking
it's,
about.
it's like a Benihana type
Yeah,
thing.
yep.
Anyway, it's an L-shaped restaurant. So half the crowd was down this way, and half the crowd was this way, and they stuck me in the middle.
Oh, it's
no
horrible.
stage, just on the floor, kind of with waiters and waitresses, traffic going by. I'm in there looking down here,
Yeah.
looking down there,
Yeah.
and like there's your physical. You're screwed.
I'm
You know
sweating
what I mean?
thinking about it, dude.
Yeah, so then it's like go.
They
like,
hand it to you.
Yeah, you're the first. Anybody bringing me up, I said just speak up there for a minute or two.
Yes. Yeah.
At least 60 seconds, just so the crowd can focus and know that there's somebody over there. There's something happening, and it's their turn to shut up for
Yeah.
a little while. But if that doesn't go that way, then you're in real trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
my worst show was opening for Leon Redbone. I don't know if you remember him, Leon Redbone. He was a great old. He used to do play the piano and guitar. He chose songs that were over 100 years old. He would say, January, February, June, and July. What was that? Shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no loving since January, February. Anyway, I loved them.
Yeah.
And it's just so happened when I first started, I guess I started 85, 86. This was 86-ish, maybe 87. When did Gary Heidnick come out? Do you remember that news item?
I don't
It's
know
well
Gary.
after you guys. I don't know Gary. He looks a little like Gary
Really?
Heidnick.
Man, Gary?
You got
Put a
something to
pair
tell
of
us there?
glasses. No,
We'll have to pull him up.
this guy was a genius, but he was a cannibal and a rapist and a murderer.
It's a good look for Dan over here.
Yeah.
Check all the boxes. Oh, damn. Yeah, this is, we're getting there.
I
Take the
can see that a little bit. He's got a better hairline than you, though.
It certainly does. This is a guy I can model myself after.
That's,
Look at that.
that's a handsome fella.
Good dude, nice guy.
Yeah.
He was from North Philly. He used to prey on bringing prostitutes, but he liked the ones with low IQs.
Wow.
He was a financial genius and
Really?
made millions.
What?
Wow.
And lived in a shack in North Philly, Fairhill area, off of like 9th and Lehigh.
He was a straight
Somewhere around-
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Wow, that's wild. My grandfather grew up at 2nd and Lehigh, I believe it was. That's
Maybe that's
Yeah.
your grandfather.
maybe that's my
They hung
yeah,
around together.
Yeah.
So anyway, that stuff was hot, and I felt obligated to be current. I always walk into whenever I go on stage or when I'm about to speak, I always try to think of what are the 3 things that are on people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hot? Did it just snow? Are we dressed up? Did something happen earlier? Either physically, did another guy just say something funny? Did an old man come out? Are there a bunch of... Or did a plane crash,
Yeah.
or don't refer to that. Or, I'm sure we're all sad. Is this a funeral? Whatever. You have to read the room and the moment.
Yeah.
And you have to, if you can really win them that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you tag somebody who just had previous speaker, whether it was whomever,
It's a huge-
then you're already in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Off to a good
you
start.
want to get to something that they can relate to. If you refer to if they ran out of beer or food or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and if it was like a Will Smith slapping Chris Rock that week, you'd want to. If you got something good,
Yeah.
People were all over that shit. There might have been a little too much of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did anything on it.
Yeah.
But if you got something, you can refer to it. Oh yeah, I definitely did because it was like, hey, don't hit me or something like that.
Yeah. I had something like that
and
too.
it was an indictment on all comedians too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he fired a joke and he didn't like it and he
Right.
come up and smacked them.
Yep.
Didn't
Everybody
say
made
your
a
wife's
reference.
balls. Anyway, so I'm thinking I got a couple of nice Gary Dahmer jokes that shit just happened a week ago and it's current.
Yeah.
And
Imagine me
I'm
doing that at one of your
24.
gigs. You'd be so pissed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Hey, stop doing the
I
cannibal
didn't know
bits.
all the rules and I didn't get any instruction. I didn't get proper instruction.
Right.
This was definitely have you ever opened up for a musician or a musical
Yes,
act?
that's tough.
Brutal.
One of the
dude.
hardest follows. you can
Brutal.
have.
Yeah, no, you don't want. They're not there for you. They don't even want a comedian. They like music.
And then
Yeah.
you sound silly just talking after that.
Oh,
You're
wait a
like,
minute.
That's all you do?
Wait a second. Oh, you mean you follow the band?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of shows open with music, and then you got to go up right after.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's
weird.
really hard too. but
That's ridiculous, actually.
Musical comedy too. Because if you follow somebody that's with a guitar and they're doing funny songs, after you get up, you just kind of seem like the most boring guy ever.
like a lot of guys
Yeah.
will go up with a ukulele and like sing
Yeah.
ukulele songs.
You mean a guitar act, somebody
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
musical comedy? Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're tough to follow.
It's
That's
tough.
why they close a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's very unique.
Anyway,
Yeah.
routinely it used to be a formula. Comedian open for a musician or a musical act. Not like a big band or something, but a halfway. Like Leon Redbone was a smaller act. I mean, Big Daddy, my buddy, Big Daddy Graham used to open. That was part of his intro. He opened for 10 Musical Hall of Famers. Ray Charles and some people, but it was normal. I actually opened up for the Monkees once.
Oh, really?
It wasn't too bad. At the Man.
Wow.
And it went okay. It wasn't a disaster, but it's not like I ripped it. You know what I mean? It's not like I
Was
killed
that
it.
cool meeting them though?
It was nice.
Yeah.
Davy Jones, little guy from Britain, and real high voice. Peter Tork.
They were
He
huge,
was still
right?
with them.
Back in the 70s?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, we're the Monkees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my stuff.
They did I'm a
Dude,
Believer, right?
The best trivia
Yeah.
question about the Monkees, it was Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, probably the most talented one. Davy Jones was like an actor. He was a good-looking, like a movie actor type thing. Peter Tork was I don't even know what he did. They were kind of like frontmen. It was like a weirdly put together band from studios. But Mickey Dolenz was a musician. So the fourth guy was a guy named Michael. I forget, but he's a billionaire because his mom invented whiteout.
Really?
years ago.
Wow.
I don't even know if they
It's
still
always
use
something
white.
stupid like
Yeah.
that. Oh, he's got that whiteout
You
money.
remember something still living off that white. I don't need your whiteout.
His dad was the Post-it guy. You're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So where the hell I was talking about Leon Redbone?
Wait, so what?
Worst
it was-
gig of the year?
Yeah, the
right?
cannibal
Yeah.
Cannibal, yeah.
reference.
Oh my God, yes. So I get up there and I should have hit him with an impression or hit him with something. You know, when you have new stuff, I do kind of put that up front because it's on the top of your mind and you're going to forget it.
Yeah.
You roll into the stuff you know later. I should have hit him with a Harry Callis out of the chute or something. And
He went the complete opposite direction.
I hit him with Gary Heidnick. So how about that Gary Heidnick thing? And then I think they might have been watching me at first, but as soon as I started that, it's like, okay, first they do is ignore. They look at you and then they turn around and turn away and start talking. They ignore you, then they start talking amongst themselves, and then they want you to get the fuck off stage.
Yeah.
And they can start throwing stuff. So I think I got a glass thrown at me that day that
really?
didn't hit. It just, I heard a glass breaking noise nearby of the stage, and it was like, get off stage, boo. After about 5 minutes. Now the worst part was I had to do 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
And back then, if you didn't do your time, you didn't get paid. You didn't get your money.
Yeah.
They would go. Still nightclub people are tough. You know.
yeah.
Well, you did. I'll give you this.
Right.
You know what I mean? You didn't really do that. You said you were gonna take this.
Yeah.
You know. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know? It's like
Yeah.
a used car.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, so totally at the end, they're booing me, and that was early on. I know what happens. I'd started, and you get out of practice, you get bad real quick. So I had started and like doing a bunch of Solari gigs. I don't know who you would be the equivalent of. Who's got a lot of club gigs? There's just not a ton of them, are there?
Yeah, you.
Like a Scarpati.
Yeah.
No, I got
yeah.
parishes.
Yeah, it's true. You got the
like
parishes on lock.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The anyway, I'd done a bunch of work. Then I stopped because I got a job on the radio. I got hired on the radio, and I just, definitely I've always since then kept them. I've always worked while doing the radio, just because I don't know. That's how one feeds the other, and I just stopped working for almost a year, and then when I got up on stage and started firing that Heidnick, so I was out of practice. It was, and I was drinking a couple beers.
Oh, the combo.
That never helps.
And you're
man.
like, I'm gonna let it rip.
Because I was nervous
Yeah.
because I hadn't worked in a while.
You always think in the beginning that you're like, I'll drink and that'll loosen me up, and it makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
It's just
Because you
not
forget
a
your
good
stuff.
recipe.
and-
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. That was just the worst one ever. I don't think I've ever. I've had I worked a job up at Prospectors on 38.
Yeah.
Is that still open?
Yeah.
Country
yep.
bar.
Yeah, they still do line dancing in there. Square dancing.
It's pretty impressive to watch all those people doing that line
Yeah,
dance.
it's a massive room. Garth Brooks just performed there.
What?
Get out
A year ago, he did a dive bar tour all around the country.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was in
No
there.
way.
It was when there was places struggling because of COVID. He did like a dive bar tour. I think it was Garth Brooks or another.
Garth.
Pretty sure it was him. Or another massive country star. I'm pretty sure it was Garth. But yeah, it's still there on 38.
Well, I had a another thing where you're talking about the guys that don't the mic doesn't work and the bad setup and they're not crowd. So I don't know where this booking came from. I forget, but it was a room. It was a regular, like, I don't know, once a month or once a week. They were trying to get a room going in there. It's probably a Wednesday or a Thursday. Probably a Wednesday. Physical setup is a big challenge. They didn't shut the bar part down. All kind of noise.
Number one
with
problem, yeah.
drinks and the glass and bouncing and people at the bar. People at the bar don't want the show.
Yeah.
They're anti-show. Why are you here or my normal drinking time
Exactly.
that I come into
Yeah.
this bar?
Yeah.
You're just interrupting. They're like, what's
Absolutely.
And that's why they want music. They can just hear something in the background. But
So TVs could be on. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many nightmare
I've done
scenarios.
shows in front of
You gotta turn them off.
yeah, you
I
have to.
I did a show in front of a Sixers playoff game. TV. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Well, sometimes you got a conflict. I'll agree. Well, I'm all sports, so
Yeah.
you got to put the sound down, and
Yeah.
then I got a great story about the Phillies we'll come back to. So getting back to prospectors, it was just like they didn't give a shit about anything. And the booker and the manager, I don't even know if the manager wanted to have the comedy. So we were kind of on our own, and I had a heckler. And I don't have anything really against a heckler, but they're usually just assholes or drunks or people that want to be bigger than the show. Yeah. I do have something against those people, but if you want to fire a line at you, 1 or 2 lines is fine. Especially if a comic's asking questions, which I never do because I don't want the answers coming flying back at me. Right. Unless it's my town or Mount Laurel, whatever. What town you from? So I forget how it came, but the guy was heckling, and I'm not great with hecklers. In fact, I'm horrible with hecklers, but I don't have an array of comebacks. I only have like 2. And the second line is always the atomic, it's over. So I said something like, this guy, I forget the way the first exchange was. It was clear he wasn't shutting up, and he was kind of yelling at me. And I said, well, you weren't saying that last night when my balls were smacking you in the chin. Because I heard somebody use that once.
I would love to hear the first line from A to B. For that to be your B.
It was over real quick. Not over, but I went nuts because you're really pissed, and you can't get pissed on stage, or it doesn't serve you well to get emotional. While you're trying to do your act, because once you get thrown like that, it's tough.
And you're trying to keep the rest of the audience on your side. So if you start getting aggressive and pissed, they're like, "Oh wait, this guy is an asshole."
Yeah. You ever have that happen before, where somebody's kind of heckling you, but no one else can really hear, and then you respond over the line, and everyone else goes, "Whoa, this guy's an asshole."
See, that's why there's a fine line with answering hecklers, because you cannot ignore it. Yeah. If that guy's part of the show and he's yelling at you, you got to address it. Yeah. But if it's only like a low volume, you can almost pretend, or you can say, make him feel like he's hurt a little bit. But like you said, you're going to waste your time if the whole audience doesn't. So the problem at that show at Prospectors, there was no help. Like nobody cared about the show. No manager was there. There was nobody. Right. You need help assisting. If you're at the comedy clubs, usually handle that. Yeah. Now, if you're at, I don't know, a beef and beer, which is what I do all the time, you gotta have. You just don't have it.
Yeah,
you really don't. In the room. Nobody. Yeah, and sometimes there'll be, there's enough, I don't know, parents or fathers or the men of the parish that might come around and say, "Yo, dude, you're messing this up here." A manager has to come over to a heckler and say, "You can't be part of the show." One time, second time, come over and say, "Dude, you've been told about this. If you open your mouth again, you got to go." And then when he does it again, he's got to go, and that's all there is to it.
Yep. Exactly.
You wasted your money. You ruin the show and well-run clubs. They don't want a reputation of a bunch of assholes being at the club.
Because comics won't want to work there.
Yeah, and comedy shows and clubs notoriously have like little to no security, at least up until recently. So any of those things could fly. But now I feel like comics kind of want hecklers, younger guys.
Well, There's a buddy of mine who's only a couple years younger, Joe Matarese. He's
a fellow.
He's
bad
our
boy.
Original South Jersey bad boy. That's the name of our podcast.
You could probably
we called the three of us the South Jersey bad boys.
You really you left that out. That I'm on the bad boys.
South Jersey bad boys.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. You could probably do a killer Joe Matarese impression.
Oh, Joe's got a distinct kind of.
Yeah, he does.
It's kind of, he's got some rocky in there.
If it's in my ear, I probably do it. But he's a great dude, and he's a great comedian. He really is, and he's a club comedian.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
And he's real good with hecklers, and he says, "Come on, bring them on." Yeah. Now that's a definite skill that a club comedian has to have. Mm-hmm. I don't have it, but I'm not a club comic, and I only did club work for a few years. Mm-hmm. I just didn't, and I don't know. You be honest with something. Maybe like a Matarese enjoys it, but nobody wants a heckler.
No.
Man. But he was
do your
good.
material.
Man. He's good.
Yeah, he has killer impressions too. First time I saw him,
yeah.
he was
Oh,
opening
yeah.
for Burr at the Wells Fargo Center. That was before I even did comedy, before we worked with
Yeah.
him. But it was incredible. He did Rocky.
Yeah, he stole my
yeah.
act, dude. Okay,
Actually,
he did.
I didn't
He
want
was
to
doing
say
Harry
it, Joe,
Callis.
but
Yeah.
He was doing Harry
He does do Harry
Callis.
Callis.
He was doing Rocky, and now he's about 3 years younger than me, maybe 4.
He's got
he
2
was
or 3.
DJing when I met him. He was DJing at the
DJ Joe.
was a bowling tour I did. I did from what's the bowling alley across from Vito's Pizza off of Haddonfield Berlin Road?
Pin setters, or is that
I don't know that one. I only know.
Is that far out of your neighborhood? You don't even know?
Well, I know Laurel Lane's
I
up on
forget a lot of the-
73. That one. What is that one? I don't know.
forget.
You know what I'm talking about, though. You know where Vito's is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. They had a sister. The company had two. No, geography's important.
South Jersey bad boy?
They had another one of same owner off of Route 42 on the Ellisburg Circle. That's not a circle anymore. But there was a bowling alley in there that was the same name. And they ran us from one to the other in the same night.
Oh, wow.
Matarese was at one of those DJing.
No way.
And, I was doing my stuff, and the next thing you know, he's doing my act. Actually, I'm only half kidding, Joe, but there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
You ask him. You can't be, but he did a couple really good ones. He used to do the dude from the Pope of Greenwich Village. John broke my thumb. I forget the line now, but he took my thumb. The guy, they cut his thumb off, I think.
Oh, really?
In that movie, yeah. He did it. That was Julia Roberts' brother, whatever his name is. That was an original impression that nobody else was doing. Mm-hmm. He owned that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But he also did my Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
My whole family knows that impression of yours because they love Jimmy Stewart. And they used to see you back in the day and be like, they'd be the people in the crowd yelling out, "Do Jimmy Stewart!" And they'd be like, "He did it."
What do you want, Mary? You want the moon? I'll throw a lasso up there and grab it down.
Yeah, see, like those types of impressions that nobody would ever think that like somebody did an impression of that. Like that is such a distinct voice, but I would never even have thought somebody would be doing an impression.
Wait, you
of
talking about Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah,
He was big.
Dude,
right?
you're so young. Everybody did him.
Yeah.
Really?
Back in the day, Rich Little and all.
I could see that. I mean, he was so
He did
famous.
him, Ed Sullivan. You talk about hack voices growing up. Everybody did Ed Sullivan. They did W.C. Fields. They did Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne. At least those.
Yeah.
So what was I am a little chickadee?
I feel like
W.C. Fields.
a lot of people had to do JFK, right? Was he one?
There was. Oh my God! There was one dude named Vaughn Meter.
Okay.
That had a very successful album. Comedy albums were big in the '60s and late and early '70s. Mm-hmm. George Carlin, Rich Pryor, Red Fox, they all had great albums.
Yeah.
So this dude in the early '60s named Vaughn Meter had something called The First Family, and it was a piss. It was killer. You should take if you like history, and if you like radio bits, it was a good bit. He did a bit like where they were all at dinner, and JFK's passing the potatoes around. Mr. Khrushchev is here. Mr. Khrushchev threw a shoe at me earlier or something like. He's working in this current event stuff, and it's part of history now.
Yeah.
And so when JFK died, his career died. He never caught
Wow.
on. He was huge. Like everybody had this album.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money he made or anything like that, but he was the thing for Kennedy.
My God.
So the day and Big Daddy
To hit your career to that.
tells me this story. The day after Kennedy got shot, or the next appearance, or something, Lenny Bruce. You all know Lenny Bruce,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Rebel, bad boy. He would be fit right in with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bad boys.
He would have
His
loved
act,
this.
he would get locked up for cursing in a
right?
club and charged with obscenity, and then he got to reading all his court exchanges, all the things, whatever.
Yeah.
That killed his act, really.
That's what he did
where
towards,
he was
towards the end. He would just go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Big Daddy Graham tells me that Lenny Bruce, right after Kennedy died, he opens. He gets on set. Lenny Bruce, ladies and gentlemen. He walks up to the mic and goes, Von Meter, man.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Nobody thought, oh my God, that guy's dead too.
What a amazing, like, simple line that
That's it,
everyone
yeah.
would like.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah,
nails it.
exactly.
That's all you need to say.
Just one name. Yeah.
The lines like that, they're absolutely perfect. That's so funny. That poor guy's shitting himself. He sees Kennedy die. And he's like, "Fuck, dude, I got no act." Oh,
What was the
man.
one I referred to a story that I was going to get
The
back
Phillies
to.
story.
Oh yeah,
Something with the Phillies.
Oh my God! So it's '93, and the '93 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the
Lenny
time
Dykstra
Kim
and-
Baptiste got a hit, an extra innings over. Anyway, we're at the it sucks getting scheduled, or you got to watch scheduling the shows when the Phillies are in the playoffs and they
Yeah.
got a playoff run because they could play any day of the week and you don't even know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't know, well, we got this thing scheduled. We're playing a sold-out show Saturday night. Oh, Christ, the Phillies are playing a World Series game.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever. You got to make adjustments.
We had one this past year. We went to the rail after and watched the playoff game.
Yeah. No. The year before that, when was it? I don't know. There was a show at Our Lady of Good Counsel. The Eagles had a Saturday night game, and we had to move the show up to start at like 5.
Yeah.
And everybody from the parish was fine. Let's go. They all showed
Yeah.
up. You
Wow,
know,
that's
because
awesome.
everybody wanted to watch the game.
Yeah.
They wanted to. They had already bought tickets. They needed the fundraiser for
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
So that was fine. All right, so I'm at the Saloon on 73 in Berlin, New Jersey.
Ooh, yeah. Right.
These are all
Nice.
Jersey gigs I'm bringing up.
Yeah, this is why we had you on.
Yeah.
South Jersey bad boy.
So you got it's before your time, man. You can't even remember.
We were born in '93.
Are
Yeah,
you really?
I was 92.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so there used to be this rock club. It was a big rock club called the Saloon.
Okay.
Now there's a few saloons. No, I'm thinking of the libraries. There's a few of those.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a saloon in Philly, but I don't think they're the same.
Urban Saloon or
Urban Saloon.
No,
is on
the
Broad-
Saloon. The Saloon.
The Saloon.
Okay.
Anyway, so it was a rock club. It's not a comedy club. It's like a big giant stage where a band should go, and it was okay. It was, you know how they have like it was a classic rock club where you would have concert seating. People would just be dancing right there.
Yeah.
So they had to bring in like folding chairs from the funeral home to line up, put some seats down, and anyway, it wasn't that crowded. But the Phillies are on, man. It's the playoffs. It's against the Braves. And I thought the game would be done by the time we got up, or I got up, and I wasn't even closing at that point, I don't think. And I got up there, and I said, you know, I started talking about the Phillies, and then I started doing Harry Callison. I said, well, I'm just going to do the game. So I started doing the game live. He's at the bell here. My taste! And I'm like going nuts,
that's
doing the
probably a
game
blast.
on stage in the middle of the act. They won in extra innings.
wow,
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, that happened.
that's
Man,
wild.
I was going to ask if you've ever kind of just improv, spur of the moment, do voices in situations like that. Like that.
Well,
sounds
live,
awesome.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
live reacting to something, yeah. No, I also used to Keenan's and Wildwood, another Jersey. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wildwood
Keenan's
story.
and
This one's
Wildwood.
wild.
Were you a Wildwood guy growing up?
Oh yeah, as a little kid, yeah, we vacationed
where
in
we go.
Wildwood, 12th Street, 12th and Surf, 12th and Ocean, Surfside Lodge.
Nice.
Before they put the pool in, they had picnic tables.
Dang. I used to work at the Dairy Queen on the Wildwood Boardwalk.
Oh, nice.
Good times.
I would
man.
imagine. Any job on the boardwalk.
Yeah, it's
Nice scenery.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Good people watching there.
especially nowadays.
So we're in North Wild. So Keenan's hires me to. It was his idea. Why don't you come in and do Merrill and Mike during the game? And I don't know whether. I think I just did the first half.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know if it's gonna work, man. It's just, you know. Plus, I said, what do you? You always when you get a gig, you don't really. It's not perfect for you. Try to talk them out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And now just do it, okay? Come down. People will be there. Maybe it'll be fun. You know, there's a fundraiser. There's usually some cops thing there or
Yeah.
something. And and I did the first half as Merle and Mike, just
Wow.
Damn.
totally winging it, and really got in some trouble almost because you can. I mean, could
you're
you
gonna
imagine
slip up, say
doing
some
play by
stuff.
play? Well, you can. It was a club,
yeah.
and it wasn't strict, but I was dropping a couple F notes. I would think.
Yeah.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
I'm almost sure it was the pickle juice day.
What's the
Deuce
pickle
Staley ran for 200 yards
Oh,
in Dallas, opened the game on it with an onside kick, and they crushed him, I
Yeah.
believe, after
Yeah.
that. I don't know. We did this a couple times, so that might have been. That might have
It'd be a killer game to call, though. At least that's a
yeah, that was a fun one. I'm not sure if it was, but I was down at Keenan's with a couple of those gigs.
So I've seen you do, obviously you do a lot of players, and you've done it to some of them. Who do you think's your favorite you've ever, worked with, like talked to or done an impression to?
Well, I recency bias, but Kelsey was when 2 years ago in Seattle, the Ocean Drive.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Keep plugging these Jersey clubs. We did a bit. Angelo's last year, I guess it was. No, was it? I don't know. I think he came back here. Anyway, his Super Bowl speech, Philadelphia, hungry dogs run faster.
yeah.
So I changed the speech to Seattle, all the Seattle places.
Nice.
Like, nobody liked this town. Living in the shadow of Ocean City and Avalon. People say, Marianne's pastry's too small. Seattle, or OD's too young. Commodore Club's too old. The carousel closes too early. So I had all these
great.
things, and he was sitting right there.
No way.
He's right next to me. Yeah, and
Was
he's
he
just
loving it?
like dying. Yeah,
He
yeah,
seems like the
Love
man.
that. Yeah.
yeah. He's great.
He might be
great.
my favorite Philadelphia athlete.
I
mean,
think. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
He's awesome.
I was going to ask if there's any current Philly athletes get you excited impression-wise. Is there anybody? I know you said you kind of
Well, Kelsey is probably the only. I didn't even think about him, but you can't do. I just get close with him, and plus, when you got a voice like that that tears you up,
Yeah.
yeah.
you got to spot it. You got to do a brief little hits on it. You can't do a whole dive on it because it just hurts too much.
Yeah.
It'll mess your voice up. But Barkley was great.
Embiid.
Embiid, yeah. Okay, that's my only current, I think.
Your Allen Iverson is my favorite.
Thank you.
Too, by the way.
Love
cut you
y'all.
off there.
Love y'all. I just heard the commercial.
I've never seen a white guy do it. Allen Iverson so spot on.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable, dude.
They're doing Kevin Hart does a commercial with him about, I don't know, a bank card or something like that, cash back.
Yeah.
Chase
And-
cards, I think. Yeah.
And he's over the top. Kevin Hart's talking about, I don't know, they're doing the practice thing, talking about cash back. And Iverson, just a little throw was, we're not talking about practice. We're not talking about practice.
He's still going with that.
He is so authentic and no holds barred and just always bears. He's got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Even if he does have something to hide, he's not hiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think when he would travel, I don't know if it was his whole career or just a few years, when they would travel to other cities, he would not bring a suitcase and he would just buy new clothes every single
Unreal,
city.
yeah.
And he had a jeweler in every city.
That is a guy without a care in the world.
Yeah.
I just met a dude, a friend of my my daughter's a friend of my daughter's who's actually a big gambling guy. He's like late 30s. He's like a multi-millionaire just through gambling.
Wow.
And he does that shit. He flies to the other countries
What a
without
life.
luggage.
Yeah.
And just buys
Yeah.
clothes.
Only time I do it is when I want to save some money on a Spirit airfare and not pay $50 for a bag. But
Right. That's
that's
how
not
Spirit
really
gets you.
It's not really AI.
You're like, man, the
balling.
tickets on Spirit are only $25. And you're like, what's one carry on? They're like $3,000. You're like, well, How we doing on time, Dan? Because
We're over, dude, but that's all right. Do we go to our first break yet?
so
We got some bills to pay. Oh, we don't.
we'll get you
We're
out.
sponsored by the Patco in Lindenwold here.
Wait a minute. When did I show up? 45.
What's it say on there? What are we? We're probably close to an hour. We got to be.
Yeah, but we're at 57, so
Oh, yeah.
we'll wrap this thing up. But can we hit you with a quick speed round,
No problem,
real quick?
dude. That's all.
Of basically, I was thinking we name a couple guys that I know you do and give you a scenario.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's
right.
kind of like the post game show, dude.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
All right, so let me. Charles Barkley writing a Yelp review.
Man, every time I come to this place, I gotta wait in line about a half hour. They gotta change that. Food's pretty good. Pickles are good.
Yeah.
I got the burger with the pickles and cheeses. But, man, too long to wait.
How about Harry Callis giving a play-by-play of Charles Barkley at a fast food restaurant?
We're getting real meta, Dan.
Here comes Barkley. He's rolling up to the counter. He's with his wife and child and just out for a stroll. He's a regular guy. He orders a couple of Big Macs, chicken nuggets. How much are you going to eat, Charles? Bucket of chicken? Wait a minute, we're at the wrong place. Hold on. He's challenged down. There goes Barkley with him and his child. Barkley and the wife and child take a booth in the back, settling in, and he's gonna wash it down with a Diet Coke.
All right, Allen Iverson, if you were stranded in the desert.
Like, what are we talking about, man? I just want a Corona. I just want one Corona, man, and I'll never piss in the casino again. Who am I talk? I'm all by myself. What are we talking about? Nothing. Because I'm the only one here. Stranded in the desert? We talking about a desert? You mean sand or whatnot?
Oh yeah, I was gonna tee up
Son.
a cactus thing.
I
I was trying to lead
I
you to
missed it. We talk about,
Yeah.
dude, ain't nothing but mountains and desert. We talking about cactus, man.
All right, Dan, you got one more, and then I'll do the last one.
This was one that immediately came to my mind. How about, because we haven't heard you do it yet, Joel Embiid, if he ran out of gas at a Wawa but left his wallet at home. So he's got no money on him, and he's got to get someone to give him gas.
How you doing? Am I in my car or outside my car? Do I have a car in this scenario? Because I like to play the game. Okay, so I walked up, I broke down the road here. I don't know what's your name, but do you know me? I play for the 76ers. I'm very identifiable. Look at me. I'm 7'2". I'm so big if I fall down, I'm halfway home. I'm halfway to my car. So,
What'd you say, money, credit card?
He had no money on him. No money on him.
I got no
perfect.
money, but I'm worth. I just signed a big contract for $152 million, so I'm good for it.
And then I'll give you one more, and then we'll wrap things up here. But Merrill Reese officiating Fletcher Cox's wedding.
Here we go. Here we go. Merle here. I am the officiant, Mike.
That's right. You got it online. It was a certificate that you.
Mike, they don't have to know this. I am an official officiante. At the wedding of Fletcher Cox.
That's right. And it was and just on the week that he retires, he finally gonna tie the knot.
That's right. And you know, the ladies auxiliary of the Eagles was actually in mourning now because of the loss of Cox. Yeah, now that he's off the market.
That's right, bro. No more Cox for any of the ladies.
Joe Conklin, everybody.
Oh, fantastic. That's amazing.
Dude,
That is amazing.
thank you so much for doing this. Before you go, anything you want to plug? Shows coming up, or we got 7 to 10.
I was gonna say, how far is the reach?
Yeah,
the reach is
What
after
can we
this.
do? Oh yeah, you know what? We're talking about Jersey the whole time, pretty much. Wildwood and Ocean City this summer with the orchestra.
Ooh.
It's a unique experience. It's Philadelphia Sports the Musical.
Oh, wow.
It's basically
Yeah.
my act put the music.
That's
Okay.
incredible.
Is this with
Wow.
Vince?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, nice.
Vince Valentine directing.
He's the man.
Pete Spina and the City Rhythm Orchestra. So we'll be in Wildwood Catholic High School Auditorium, Wildwood Catholic Academy, June 29th or 30th, whatever the Saturday is. Excuse me. And then Ocean City's Boardwalk.
The music
On the Music Pier.
Ooh.
It's a great venue.
Nice.
That's an awesome
I know, to
spot.
see the ocean in the background. It's really cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's
Joe
great.
ConklinComedy.com.
JoeConklin.com.
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 Sweet.
Awesome. All right.
Dan, you got anything?
We got some St. Patrick's Day weekend. This is the weekend of all our
That's right,
people here.
our
Yeah.
people,
Got some shows.
Great.
Yep.
Great time not to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great night not to work.
That's right.
St. Patty's,
Yes, man.
Saturday and Sunday. It's gonna be tough out there.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
got shows in Ardmore, and then LBI, and then the following week in Tom's River. So all over the map. What about
Nice. I just got Next in Line comedy this Saturday, and then New York Comedy Club Stanford on Sunday, and that's it.
Sweet.
But yeah, Brendan Donegan Comedy on Instagram. We'll
Awesome.
be posting there, dude. Thank you for
Yeah,
doing this.
my pleasure.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
coming over.
It was
We
a lot of
appreciate
fun.
it. Yeah, it's a good time. We'll have you back with Joe Matarese. How about that?
Yeah.